Namaste. Meru Nam Don. Ho. Reshan Firiri. Reshan Firiri. Dera Chunky Dharma Banchang. Reshan Firiri. Hello there, my name is Don McNeill, and I'm from Canberra. Very fond of walking and walking in the Himalayas. Certainly go to Nepal and experience it. It's a wonderful place. The Himalayas were the great attraction, being up into the mountains.
CMS, Canberra's multicultural station, sharing the world.
Hello there, my name is Don McNeill, and I'm from Canberra. Very fond of walking and walking in the Himalayas, walking over in Spain. We did the Camino de Santiago, and my son usually grabs me and says, "Hey, let's do a walk," and off we go. It was in October 1979. I was a young lad of 22 at the time, and we did. We turned up in Kathmandu. We went to Pokhara for a while, and then we were dropped off on the road towards the Chinese border, and from there we started on the Everest trek. But we didn't get very far. We got to through Jiri and a place called Thodung, which is got a really lovely cheese factory. And that was about the end of our trek. My friend hurt his ankle and we went back to Jiri, got a plane to Kathmandu. But we had a great time together there. Really, the Himalayas were the great attraction, being up into the mountains and meeting a new, different culture. And I didn't realise how wonderful the Nepalese people were. They were really lovely to meet, such a nice group of people. And so it was particularly attracted by those magnificent mountains. It was in 1979, there was a lot of people doing the overland trip from Australia. They would go through Southeast Asia, India, and maybe Nepal, and then even into Afghanistan and right over to England. And my friend and I did a part of that, and it was always part of the plan that we would do a walk, and we aimed at doing this Everest walk. I guess it's the questing of climbing a special mountain, and just meeting new people, new experiences. It was difficult. I landed by myself. I'd just come from India, so I guess I was quite used to. I've been a month in Bali, 2.5 months in India, so I wasn't sort of too surprised by anything in Nepal. I mean, in regards to the standard of living, the poverty, seeing people, the poor begging on the streets, and that. I guess I was accustomed to that, so it wasn't a huge culture shock. But I guess what was interesting was the slightly more Buddhist culture in Nepal. I hadn't struck that much, and through India is mostly Hindu, and then in Nepal you have this mix of Hinduism and Buddhism all wrapped in together, because I'm quite interested in the spiritual things. It was. I think I was pretty struck by those mountains as soon as I saw them. The beautiful green valleys and these lovely mountains. The scenery was just so perfect.
Okay, when you're ready.
Reshan Firiri, Reshan Firiri, Udera Chunky Dharma Banchang, Reshan Firiri, Udera Chunky Dharma Banchang, Reshan Firiri. I think getting over the huge pass that we got through, Thorong La, which I sang about, that was one of the highlights. The fact that I could do it with my son, that I actually, even though I was getting on a bit in years, I actually made it over the pass and didn't die. That was pretty good. I think I think it was the camaraderie, just getting on well with the. We really loved the group of porters that were and guides that were running the trip with us, and like Resham Firiri, one of the guides was walking along with me, and I asked him to teach me that song because I really liked it. So he sort of explained all the phonetically how to say the particularly the chorus, Resham Firiri Udara Junkie Dharma Banjang. So that was a pretty special moment. Lots of good times there.
Junkie Dharma Banjang Resham Firiri Udara Junkie Dharma Banjang Resham Firiri.
Second time I went, I was a little concerned because I think there were issues with the Maoists in the hills, and I'd seen a Michael Palin documentary where his group had been, some of them been kind of abducted and taken away by the Maoist rebels in the hills, but we never had any experience like that. No. I think it was fairly calm. I mean, there was a landslide a bit before we got to one of the sections of walking, so it's like a natural issue that could have been a problem, but we didn't have any problems with that. What I liked too in Nepal was it's compared to Australia, it's so back to basics. With you see, we were looking out from our breakfast and we saw this yak being led away, and then a few minutes later we were looking out and the head of the yak was being brought back. We thought, just something you don't see in Australia. That's obviously our dinner tonight. The yak stew. So I did that 1979. I did it in 2009, so 30 years later. First I went when I was 20, and the second time with my son when he was in his 20s. So this is twice. I'm intending to go next year on the way to Tibet. So I intend to travel to Tibet next year. So and Nepal on the way. The Nepalese people are very resilient, and they rebuild after all the disasters they have, and they still have a joyful spirit despite the tragedies that go on. But yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to go to Nepal. Probably since it was a 30-year gap, I went in 79 and then 2009. One thing I did notice was probably the pollution in Kathmandu. I remember looking out and seeing the Himalayas, and when I arrived in more recently 2009, it was sort of a grey sort of covering for all the mountains. You couldn't quite see that lovely clear mountain. In fact, we didn't get it, I think, until we'd started our trek and walked for a few days, and then got some good vision of the mountain. But I guess that's progress, isn't it, people? A lot of people with motorbikes in Kathmandu, and the tourist industry needs to be supported, and their own livelihoods. Mm-hmm. I think I was trying to think when there was also the disaster with the royal family, wasn't there, in Nepal? I'm not sure if that was after or before I went in 1979. I don't remember. After. It was afterwards, wasn't it? So I think so when I went there the first time there, that was run by the royal family. Yeah, and encourage them to go to Nepal. It's a beautiful place with amazing sights, and the people are fantastic. They're very very welcoming and wonderful people. So I'd say certainly go to Nepal and experience it. It's a wonderful place. Don't be put off by any natural disasters or stories of earthquakes and things. But I'd certainly encourage people to go. Well, thank you very much, Pradeep. Yeah, namaste.
I am a donkey, you are a monkey.